What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris, man. We are here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It's February 14th, 2022. Got a special guest coming on. She is a assignment desk editor, and she's also a content producer for Telemundo AZ. Her name is Karina Espinoza. We're going to talk to her about her why in journalism, talk to her about her why she attended the school that she did, ask her some fun questions, get a little this or that, and yeah, just get to know her a little bit from one journalist to another. So I'm excited and looking forward to linking up with Karina, talking to her, and yeah. So without any further, oh, hold on, thought we had her, but no, that's okay. She'll be on in about a minute or two, and then after that, we'll go from there and we'll talk and get to know her a little bit. I'm excited for this conversation. Should be a good one. Once again, we're going to be talking to Karina Espinoza. Um, she is a assignment desk editor and a content producer for Telemundo AZ. So definitely going to talk to her. Looking forward to hearing her why into journalism. Yeah, there you go. And without any further ado, I bring to you Miss Karina Espinoza. Hey, Karina, how we doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's nice to see your face. You
Oh
look
my
lovely
God.
today. I have to say
Thank you. I know I had been like postponing it for a while. Thanks for your
that. No worries, no worries at all. I'm just happy to get up with you. Thank you for coming on my podcast. Work hard, play harder. Um, I just want to ask you before we get started, how are you and your family doing during these pandemic times?
Well, thanks for having me, Chris. I actually didn't know this was for a podcast, but yeah, my family and I were doing really good actually. We did have COVID like
Hmm.
about a month ago, but we got through it all together. So that's a blessing for sure. What
That is
about
a blessing.
you?
My family's spread out. Thank you for asking. I'm here in Minnesota. My mom is in Georgia, and my dad's in New York. Then I got brothers all around the states too. But knock on wood or whatever you can knock up on, nobody has gotten COVID, so everything is good.
That's good. That's good.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Again, I appreciate that. I want to start off today by asking you about some of your aspirations and maybe some of your inspirations that you might have had growing up and what gravitated you towards a career in journalism.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. I think that's like one of my favorite things when people ask me because for me, it wasn't like, oh, let me, sign up for journalism when I was going to like college orientation or anything like that. For
Right.
me, it was when I was younger. So I was probably about 10 years old when my mom took me to like this school event. And this lady was going to be there. She was a journalist, a reporter. She was going to like kind of tour us around what her job was, demonstrate us like what she does on a daily. And it was just a group of kids, surrounding her, like just being amazed by like, oh, this person's like on TV. She has like a camera, she has a mic, she has a photographer. And
Absolutely.
so she she took us to the police department and then I thought that was like so, like badass. And I was like, this
I
is
love
so
it.
cool, and I was like, wow, I was just like so inspired. And then the kids and we got to kind of do like a little package, a story package. We pretended to be like reporter and the interviewer, and it was kind of fun. So after that, like that kind of like ingrained in my mind, and I was like, I want to go after that. And don't get me wrong, like there was other like careers that grabbed my attention. Like I was really into like being a police officer as well because I
Mm.
remember being at the police department and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And like I kind of grew up in a neighborhood where like things aren't like great. I
Right.
mean, I am a person of color. I don't come from like a rich family or anything like that. So,
Right.
all these things like seeing injustices in my community, I kind of wanted to be a voice for that. But like I knew I wanted to do something to kind of represent my community. So that's why like being a police officer was kind of there as well. Cause I
Yeah,
mean, you
absolutely.
understand like what's going on like since forever, right? With like police officers. So I feel
Yeah.
like that career grabbed my attention because I really wanted to kind of create a more safe space for like my people. But I mean, at the same time, like I think my life just led me on with journalism, and that was kind of more what I wanted to do with my life because I just wanted to represent and like let people know that like you can do whatever you want. And like as a woman too, like it's so hard to be in this industry. I mean, being in sports, I bet like you don't see a lot of women, right?
Not a
And
lot.
I gotta
No.
say that, sports is not my specialty, but I do want to like learn a little bit more about it. But right now, I'm a producer, so I'm not quite there yet as a reporter and anchor, but I did used to do that in school a lot. So right now I'm just kind of working my way up, trying to see what opportunities there's out there to, represent my community. I still do stories, like about like, what's happening with COVID and all that, but I
Hmm.
haven't really, set it as my priority and like 24/7 job. But
No,
yeah,
I
that's
feel that.
kind of how I started.
I feel that. I do, Karina. I really do. I love the fact that at 10, going in that police station, that had an impact on you. I also feel about what you're talking about the community as a woman of color. There's no question about it. There's
Yeah.
stories out there to be told. Obviously, with me being a man of color, I definitely relate to you. Although we're in a different genre, I'm in sports, but still, there's not a lot of women, especially in hierarchy positions in sports. It's getting better, but it still has a long way to go. There's no question about that. But I love that
Definitely.
answer. Now, you went to Arizona State University, um, and I want to ask you, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to Arizona State University?
Was there anyone or anything?
Well, I would say, like, were there any other schools that you were applying to that could have persuaded you from going to Arizona State University?
I don't think so because for me, like I'm like the first generation
Okay.
to go to a college or university. So I wasn't even really informed about like colleges or university. All I knew is that I wanted to continue studying. I did apply to NAU, the one out in Flagstaff, and then like I just randomly applied to a university out in New Mexico just because I had to for high school. Like it was a requirement to apply to 3 universities. So I
Right.
just did that out of the blue, and like I I knew I wanted to go to ASU because it's like only like 20 minutes away from me. And like
Mm,
they have the Phoenix campus and they have the Tempe. So it's like the same distance for me, like just driving. And I think it was like everything worked out fine for me because I didn't even know that the Cronkite School was like one of the best schools in journalism.
right.
So like I feel like it was all meant to be, like me being born here in Arizona. And I forgot to mention the fact that like I live in a neighborhood where like both of the Spanish speaking stations here are like close to my home. So I kind of just like grew up seeing that around me, and like it kind of always pushed me to like continue and go forward and not lose sight of that dream because it was like always around me. Like
Yeah.
every time I would pass the station or something, I'm like, okay, I gotta get there. And then going to the Cronkite school, it was like, oh, like everything is here in my hands, like I have no excuse to not want to do this. Like I felt like it was all meant to be. Like I was like placed in that specific spot. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't lying. Like everything's pretty much in your vicinity of what you want to do. It's close by, and that's pretty cool. I like that. I like the fact I grew up in the West Coast as well. I'm a California kid, so I grew up in San Diego, um, and I've only been to Arizona one time, and that was in Phoenix, where we were driving through. And I
Yeah.
remember stopping off at a gas station I was a kid, and I got ice cream, and the ice cream melted by the time I got to the car because it was that hot.
Mhm.
I was like,
I
oh,
know.
I was like, man,
That's what's tough about being a journalist out here. It's like it's so draining in the summer. I remember being like a journalist for a class, and it was like, oh, gotta worry about parking, and then like it's not free parking. You lose your spot when you come back to school, and then like you have to go for another interview, and it's hot. And I remember my car not having AC, so that
oh,
was tough.
that was that had to be. Oh man, okay, I feel
Yeah.
it on that. I feel it.
What about you? Like how did it start for you?
Oh well, for me, I've always loved sports. I played sports growing up in high school. I played 4 different sports, and then for me, I was like, okay, I took a journalism class in high school, and I was like, okay, this is cool, but this is kind of nerdy as well. So I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to be a journalist or not. Because at first I wanted to be a math teacher, and I was all about sports and theater. I really love to sing. I love theater, so I love doing musicals and stuff like that. But then I took a little bit of time off, so I didn't go straight into college. And then I went to college, and I was like, math teacher, cool. But then they told me to take calculus. I was like, hell no, can't do that. So I didn't want to take calculus, so I decided to move on to broadcast. And I was like, well, I kind of like the writing and the interviewing part. So then I went and changed my major for the third time to journalism. And then I started to, get involved with school stuff like sports radio, get involved in my
Yeah.
magazine, started to write articles, and then get involved locally. I graduated in Kennesaw State University with my degree in Georgia, and I got involved with local publications, started covering games, and then this is why I broke into the industry and got my first full-time sports job. And now I'm a sports reporter out here in Minnesota. So covering sports and writing columns that I love to do, and not just covering games, but also writing those human interest stories and writing my opinion about some things, and about
Yeah.
some things that touch my heart. Like I recently wrote an article about blacks being hired in the NFL. I just think that that should be more prevalent. We shouldn't just have one black coach and we got 32 teams. Uh, that just don't make any sense to me. So I had to write
Mhm.
something from my heart and something that was conducive to that because out here in Marshall we're only 4% as far as the population black. We're 90% white. So out here it's like that, and the population is only 11,000 out here in Marshall. So it's a very small
Mhm.
town. Coming from where I came from, which I grew up in San Diego, which that's pretty big, and then I went to Atlanta, Georgia. That's pretty big. Coming out here to Marshall, I was like, ooh, it's a little different, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
It's a great place. So that's pretty much how I got my stuff.
So you moved because of school and stuff? You didn't want to stay in Cali?
Yeah, I moved. Well, my mom moved, so I moved with her
Oh, okay.
out. My family, well, my mom moved out to Atlanta. I definitely wanted to. I went
Mm-hmm.
to elementary, middle, and high school out in Cali, and then my mom moved out to Georgia, and then I went to college out there, and then this is where I got my first job at in Marshall, Minnesota. But yeah, my goal was to first go to San Diego State University because who the hell
Mm-hmm.
wants to leave California? I mean, that's
Yeah.
just a beautiful state, but things just didn't work out like that, and things work out the way that they're supposed to. So I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
here, and you're supposed to be at Telemundo AZ doing what you do. So, and I love it. I love it. You know what I mean? So I want to ask you some favorite things. So I'm going to ask you some favorite things, Karina, and off the rip, you just give me the 411 of what some of your favorite stuff is, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Favorite music genre?
That's a hard one because I just love music. It doesn't matter. It depends on my mood. But I would say hip hop because it's always very uplifting and like very motivating, empowering. No matter
Okay.
if it's like female artists or male artists,
Yeah.
like if I'm sad, like that's always the option. If I'm like energetic, like ready for a presentation, hip hop, like you just play hip hop because it's just
Hmm.
very like hyped.
Oh, I feel it. No, I feel you. I definitely love me some hip hop. That's for sure. So when you're driving down the street of Phoenix, right, in Arizona, there, what is a song that comes on, or what is a song that pops on, maybe a Spotify, Pandora, that you turn all the way up, that you singing to the top of your lungs or rapping to the top of your lungs? The people looking at you over in the car like, what the hell is she doing?
I'm trying to think of my favorite song right now. I mean, I don't think Alicia Keys right now is like very hip hop, but I really like her album right now, Keys.
Oh yeah.
It's like very self-love and like very empowering. So I would probably turn up to that. Like it's like pretty calm, but it's like a little bit of pop in there.
Yeah.
So her
Yeah.
song is called Only You. And
Oh
it's like
yeah, that's a good
really
one.
like kind of like techno, like yes, like
Mm-hmm.
choose you and like it's kind of like a message to God as well. Like I don't fear love because of you. So like I just turn it up. It's like very makes you feel good.
Nah, I feel it. You got a good ear. I would love to be in the car with you listening to some music. That's for sure. That's what's up. I like that. Favorite movie genre?
Movie genre. Let's see. Action.
Okay,
I
I like.
like Marvel and stuff and like the superheroes. It gets like intense. I kind of live for intensity, I feel like. And I feel like as a journalist, I kind of relate it. Like you always like live for risk and like that adrenaline. So like everything that kind of relates to, that feeling, I really like dig it.
Oh, from one journalist to another, we vibing right now because I definitely love the Marvel movies. Definitely the
Yeah.
Avengers, no doubt. I'm a huge Avengers person. Marvel movies, Fast and Furious too. I like Fast and Furious
Yes.
movies as well. That's just me, for sure. Okay, what's your favorite meal you like to cook?
I like to cook pastas just because I really just like it. You can do so much with it. Like you can like, mix like tomato sauce with it. You can do like maybe like a creamy sauce with it. And it's like really filling. Like you can just have a little bit and it's like filling. And it's like an easy meal for me to cook.
Nah, you ain't lying about that. Pasta is very easy to make, no doubt.
But if you ask me what's my favorite food, I love pizza. Like I can never say no to that.
Wow, Karina, you are absolutely perfect. What is going on? I love it. I mean, I'm a pepperoni pizza type of guy, but I don't mind meat lovers as well. I don't mind the pepperoni and sausages and stuff. I just can't really do all those other toppings, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's what's up. Okay, I got two more favorites for you. Favorite place you ever traveled to?
Favorite place I've ever traveled to. I haven't really traveled much. And that's like one of my things that I want to do this year, maybe go out and explore a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I would say it's not my favorite when it comes to like views and looks like that, but it's become my favorite because of like the meaning behind it. But where my parents are from, Mexico,
Okay.
I went when I was like 13 years old. So I got to kind of see a little bit of where I come from, who I am. And then I got to meet like my cousins, like my grandma, aunts, and like other people, like friends from their childhood. So it was just a very touching moment. So I would say that that's like my favorite place. And I do want to go back to like their specific towns to kind of like, find like my roots and like not forget about that when I come back to the US, because I feel like that's what makes you different. I mean, I feel like so many people here in the US just want to be like a certain person, or like kind of civilized to, I don't know, an American way or whatever that means to people. But I feel like when you like bring out where you come from or what you represent, then other people feel included. And it
Yeah,
doesn't
absolutely.
make the US feel like it's not made out of migrants when it actually is.
Right. No, I feel that. I do. One of my favorite cities in Mexico is Cabo San Lucas. Um,
The beach area,
I went there once.
nice.
I can't tell you what happened because I don't remember everything. But it
People
was
go there to have fun.
yes, yes indeed, and that was quite the experience. I'm not gonna lie about that one. But that was pretty good.
Yeah, actually, now that you say that though, I do like go to Rocky Point like at least once a year with my parents. So I would say that's like my favorite place too because I really love the beach. Like it's like so relaxing and then like you kind of do isolate yourself from like all this journalism news stuff. So every time I go, I
Yes.
kind of just forget about everything. And like it's
Mhm.
not bad, but it's like you do need a break sometimes. So like that's like my favorite place to just forget about things and like
I
just
love it.
enjoy the view.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no doubt. What's your favorite alcoholic drink?
Um, I would say wine. It's just like because I don't really drink or anything like that. I've never
Mhm.
really. I actually never even been to a college party. And like, well, that's kind of over because I graduated already, so that never happened. But yeah, every time I go out, like I like to have a little bit of wine. I don't know.
Oh,
It's just like because it's not a lot that you take in, and it's just relaxing, and you kind of fit in a little bit with people if they do want you to drink.
well, yeah, absolutely. I don't drink and drive. So a lot of the times, if I do drink, it's at homes, like a house party, maybe something like at my house party, but not at a house party. If I'm going to a house party, I'm really a Coke guy or maybe a lemonade. I'll do that. But if I do like go out with some friends, I may have a shot of Hennessy or a glass of Hennessy and some Coke, or I may have some vodka and Sprite. I'll mix it, but just have one. I am a wine person. I do like wine. I'm red or white, doesn't matter. So I like Cab, but I like a Sauvignon wine as well. So I like that as well. So yeah, okay. I like your answers. That's pretty good.
Awesome.
Um, I
Do I
want to
get to ask you now or no?
no. Go ahead. Go ahead if you want to.
I don't remember all the questions, but I think you started off with what's your favorite music genre? And what song would you play out loud or blast on the radio or on the car?
Well, I have a lot of different favorites. I really do, but hip hop is definitely my favorite, no question. A song right now that I would say is one of my favorites that I'm playing over and over again is called Nostalgia. It's with Chris Brown, I think Rushan, and I forgot who the other one is, but it's a really good song. It's kind of a
Mhm.
nice beat where you kind of can dance to it a little bit. So I like that. I like songs that you can dance to. So some reggaeton, I like that as well. And yeah, so I just like different kind of music. My favorite movies, as I said, I'm an action guy. I'm a comedy guy. Love Marvel. Love Fast and Furious. But I also love good comedies as well. So yeah, anything that can make me laugh or anything that's kind of action wise, I'm with it. Totally. Favorite meal for me to cook?
Yeah, favorite meal.
Tacos, without question. You can. It's easy to make. Put the meat on, stir the meat up, put the taco sauce up in there, stir it up, put the cheese on it, lettuce on it, get the tortilla. I'm with it. So tacos and
Awesome.
lemonade is my favorite meal, no doubt. Um, my favorite place I ever traveled to, probably the Cabo San Lucas. But a second one that was pretty good, I have to say, was I probably would say New Orleans. New Orleans was
New
pretty
Orleans?
good too. They got some damn good food out there in Louisiana. There's no question about it. So, but Cabo
They
San
have a lot of culture too, don't they? With the
they do.
jazz and stuff.
They do. And I love jazz music. Gumbo was good. It's just a different vibe out there. Anytime you go to the South, it's always a different vibe. So I love that. And I love
Mhm.
traveling like you. I've been to, like I told you, several different states. So I love that. And my favorite alcoholic drink is definitely Hennessy. I'm a Hennessy and Coke guy. VSOP is right behind there. But I like wine too. Uh, I don't mind sipping on a lot. I don't. I just want to be safe when I do it. So I don't like drinking and
Yeah.
driving. So I'm pretty much a DD a lot of the times, and I don't mind. I don't mind being that. When I go out with certain friends and stuff like that. But if
Yeah.
I'm in my home, yeah, I'll fix me a glass of some hen and coke, and I'll be good. So.
Yeah, everything's okay with the balance, or a limit.
Oh
Nothing's
yeah. Oh yeah. I love, like I said, this is a podcast called Work Hard and Play Hard, Karina. So I like to do both. I like to work hard, but I also like to play hard too. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all about the fun, no doubt. I want to ask you about work life, social life balance, and mental health. And the reason why I want to ask this question is because it's more prevalent now in our society. People are coming out talking about their mental health being kind of fractured or broken. And a lot of the times because, maybe they're overworked, maybe it's burnout with journalism, or just maybe they're going through some things and they just don't know how to handle it. Now, you're there in Arizona, right? But you have family, you have friends, you work in the industry. Sometimes you may have long hours, as a content
Yeah.
producer. I believe you're also a desk editor, if I'm not mistaken, as well. You have long hours sometimes. And then sometimes you're doing things and, it just, days are never the same, is what I'm trying to get at. So, how do you balance your work life, social life, but also still maintain good mental health? Because you need some Karina time too.
Yeah, for sure. I think this question, like, you can dive deep into it, and like, I mean, we all go through it, and like you said, it's become more prevalent now to talk about it, especially like after the pandemic. Like this issue's always existed, right? But the pandemic kind of just brought it out to light a little bit.
Yeah.
But personally, I would say that for me, like things started getting harder after I graduated, as it sounds like a lie, but it did, because I was always busy. My mind was always busy when I was in school. And then like I became, a grad student, and like I was working at home and then I was studying at home. So I never really had time to go out or like hang out with friends, which I didn't mind because my mind was just busy, like doing homework, work, just waking up, just eating, like, and I was stuck in my room all the time. And then like eventually I did start to get like sick. Like, you believe it or not, but I mean, you probably have been through it. Like, you get sick from depression and anxiety. Like your body starts to feel like like something's not right. Like your head starts to hurt, your stomach starts to hurt. It's like all this like mental things that you think about like become like something physical. And
Right.
that's why it's so dangerous to fall under like those thoughts. So that's where like I kind of ended up like during my last semester as a grad student and like going to work, because I was just like logging into work right after like school, or like after school I was logging into work, things like that. And it did take a toll on me, but I still pushed through. But then like after I graduated, like I had all this time with my life because I just worked, and then I had 2 days off. Like I get today and tomorrow off, and then I have like weekend mornings off. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? And so I kind of started going to the gym and things like that. But it's been hard for me to kind of be like dedicated, because it's like never been like something that I've applied to my life. So it's
Right.
kind of like you have to start all over with these habits that you want in your life so that you can be okay mentally. And I do go out with friends and stuff. But even that is hard because like everyone wants to hang out like the same day, or like they want to hang out days where like I work. And it's like, when do I really like make time for my friends? And then
Right.
I mean, just like the whole idea of adulting is like really complicated too, because like we're not kids anymore. And then people don't understand that we have like busy lives. And like it's like about not taking anything personally. But like it's still like kind of sad because people don't understand when you can't hang out or things like that. And then I feel bad because I'm like, dang, like I really want to hang out, but like I have work, and I really want to prioritize you, but then I have to take care of myself too, and like what I prioritize.
This is true.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm still in that phase, I would say, Chris, of like trying to find my routine. I mean, I only graduated a year ago, so like it has been hard to adapt to, like, oh, waking up in the morning, going to the gym, cooking for myself, feeding my dogs, trying to help out in the house with my mom and dad, and then going into work, reading the news, like doing extra stuff so that you can be great at work too, like it's not just like, oh, I go into work and like I know stuff, like this job, like you have to do stuff outside your work hours in order to be great. And so it's been hard to try to like have that set balance every day, and then like people do come around and kind of switch your schedule when they want to like go out to dinner and stuff, and I always accept because like I do need that social interaction, but it's like it's been complicated, so I'm still trying to learn. Like I've done a
I feel
schedule on a Google Doc to just
right.
try and like stay with it, and it's been complicated, but like I always find peace, I think, in reminding myself that I'm human and it's okay if I don't follow it, and like just like
Mm-hmm.
continue to move on. And I mean, we have long hours. Like I work night shift on weekends. I end my shift like around 11 p.m. So I mean, sometimes on a Monday, like I do want to go work out, but like I would say that I skip it to like have those few hours of sleep instead.
I
And
understand.
I mean, I don't blame myself, but I do feel bad. Like when I wake up, I'm like, wow, I could have just gone to the gym, had a day
Right.
started. But,
Right.
it's just about being patient with yourself during the process, I think. And I think that's why a lot of people lose like vision or perspective because they just give up. They're like, I can't do this. But I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm not doing it today, but I still have time and like I'm working on it. But
No, I
yeah,
feel it. I feel it. I do. And I love that answer, Karina. I really do.
yeah.
And you
What
said
about
that.
you? How you dealt with it?
Oh well, me. Um, it's an ongoing process, right? That's what it is, and that's what you talked about. And to kind of tie in what a couple of things that you talked about, for me, prior to me getting into this industry, I worked for the lottery, so I worked overnight. So I worked 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. And I worked 1 week 5 days, and the next week I would work 2 days. So I worked 84 hours every 2 weeks, and I was going to school full time, and I was also pursuing my dream of covering sports. So of course, when you're off, especially the 5 day week, I would also pick up security shifts. So I was just focused. I wasn't even trying to worry about going out with nobody, dating nobody, none of that. I'm trying to be on my grind and just trying to learn and do that because I live by myself in Georgia. I didn't live with my mom, my uncle, my aunt who had a house, but I wanted to be on my own and do my own thing. So I was motivated by that. But my social life hit, and it was tough because there was people that would say, "Hey, Chris, come turn up with us at the bar. Hey, man, we got a drink for you. Hey, man, you want to hang out with us?" And of course, I'm a sociable guy. I love people. I love talking to people, but I have responsibilities, and I can't. I'm trying, like you said, I was trying to prioritize you, but I can't because I have work. I got things I got to do. Well,
Yeah.
that's the tough thing about this industry. Like you said, when you say you work till 11 p.m., I work Tuesday through Saturday, 2 to 11 p.m. So I'm off today and I was off yesterday. Um, and it's tough because some of those people that have those business hours, like work 8 to 4, 9 to 5, they don't understand our schedule. Let's just call it for what it is. They don't understand. And it's hard for them to, um, capitulate to our schedule and be able to compromise, right?
Yeah.
So then you have friends that you feel like you disappoint, you feel like you let them down because you don't see them, you don't get that social interaction with them. And I felt like that for a little minute, but then I said to hell with it because I was like, that's messing with my mental health. It's messing with my mental
Yeah.
health, and I don't want it to mess with my mental health. Like my real true friends understand my dream. And my real true friends, my day ones, are going to understand that I'm willing to make time for you. But
Yeah.
you got to be willing to understand my schedule as well. and those are the ones that you roll with and ride with. So that's how I deal with it. I go to the gym as well. I'll be going to the gym later today. I'll be actually doing Zumba later today because I like to do Zumba every now and then. And then, I also write poetry, and I also like to do my podcast like this and stuff like that and put wonderful, talented people on like yourself. And
Yeah.
by the way, I have to say, there's definitely not a camera out there that doesn't like your face. I can tell you that right now. That is
Thank you so much, Chris. Yeah, and I think it's awesome that you do that with your free time, that you do the podcast. Like I think that that's what makes you different in the industry, than people who just like go in, I'm out, I just work my hours. Because there's people like that in the industry, and like I don't really blame them either, because I mean, America's kind of like ingrained that idea that you always have to grind and work if you want to be great in this country. But I do feel like you need to take care of yourself. And then,
yes.
I mean, you probably know this, like we all know this, but the industry doesn't pay like it deserves,
No, it
sometimes.
don't.
And like it pays like it pays like a decent amount, but it's not what you
It's
really
still low
do.
pay. Still low pay.
Like you do too much for what you get paid in this industry, unfortunately. But hopefully like you going the extra mile doing this extra stuff, like it does like take you somewhere. And I'm sure it will.
I appreciate that, Karina. I really do. It's really,
Yeah.
really comforting hearing that from you for sure. Four things. This is the top four question. I want you to give me four events or things I should do when I touch down in Phoenix, Arizona. Because let me tell you something. That has been one of my bucket list things to do, is to come to Arizona. Because first of all, Arizona State is one of my top schools for my master's program. I really am thinking about doing my sports journalism master program at Arizona State.
Yeah.
I've never explored, I should say, Phoenix. So what should I do when I touch down?
Alrighty, so if we're talking about the whole state, definitely the Grand Canyon. It's very breathtaking when you go there. Sedona as well. I mean, that place doesn't even feel like it's here, to be honest. It has a lot of creeks. There's a lot of tours with the Jeeps. I mean, just the mountains. There's like a little temple as well. So it's kind of good to kind of like go and reflect, kind of ask for something that you want out of life. And I mean, I said the Grand Canyon too, because like when you look at it, it's like, whoa, like I am so small in this world, and it kind of does
Right,
humble you.
right.
So I would say those places. If we're talking about Phoenix, maybe go to like a sports event or something.
Okay,
One
I'm
of the
with that.
basketball games or like baseball games, like the D-backs or the Suns. Um, and then maybe the last thing, maybe like a restaurant or something. There's like, if you
What's a
like
good
ice cream,
restaurant?
well, you like to drink as well. So I'll mention ice cream. Novel, it has like the best ice cream. It has like
Hmm.
donuts and then like ice cream inside, and you can choose it however you want. Like they have
Okay, now.
cereal,
Okay.
whatever ice cream you like. And then there's like a few speakeasies in downtown Phoenix. There's like one in the Grand. I think you have to like purchase like a $20 like drink though in order to like get in. And then there's like this other place. It's like kind of like a speakeasy, like red type of vibe in an alley. So like you go in through an alley and like it's just like plain red in there. And like there's like red lights. It's kind of cool. Like I've never been, but I've seen and my friends have told me. But if you kind of want to like, like social night life, then that would probably be it. But the other ones are better. Like it's more my type, the other ones, than like going out at night.
Okay, tell me what your type is.
Okay, let's see. With the places I go to, my
Yeah,
top places.
absolutely. I mean, I love those places you gave me because I'll be looking
Yeah.
at those. But what kind of places did
Well,
you?
I'm a big foodie, so like I wouldn't say I still have to learn to cook. Like I know how to cook some things, but like when it comes to food, I just love going out and exploring food places or restaurants.
That's
So
how
for
you
me,
start.
like that's always my go-to because there's like a lot of cool places out here in downtown Phoenix to like get food. And like the pizza options are always like there's just so many. And like I bet like I've never been to New York, but I've heard that there's like tons of places there. But for me, like I kind of go crazy here because it's just like oh, there's like pizza places everywhere, but like it's just because I've been in my little small world, here all the time. And let's see, like to have fun. I mean, every time I go have fun, like I just go out to dance with my friends, like to the clubs in
I
the
love it.
area.
I
I
love it.
mean, I don't know if Mill Ave is kind of my vibe anymore. It's like more of the college students. So it's kind of like crazy. Like I just kind of want to vibe now and just like, enjoy my time with my friends. I do go to this one little, it's like a speakeasy too, because it's like a pizza place. Then you go in through another door and it's like a club, but it's like more chill and it's smaller. It's called
Okay.
Stardust and they have like pin machines and stuff. And I like that place. I like going there with my friends. Um, Honestly, like I'm just really open. Like I haven't even finished discovering like Phoenix, or Arizona, because like I just graduated, so I never really even had time to, like go out with friends when I was in college. I was just like really focused, which I mean, now that I look back at it, I'm like, I don't know if that was such a good thing, but I mean, everyone has a different path. So I'm like barely in like that discovery stage of like my state and like my city. So
Nah, that's
I mean,
okay.
I'm just like really open. Like I feel like I just have fun depending like on the company that's there.
I love it. I do. I do. And I love some of those places you told me about. Whenever I
Yeah,
do touch down, I definitely got to hit you up. That's for sure. And you kind of guide me around a little bit. So that'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool. Be pretty dope. That's for
that'd be cool.
sure. I want to ask you, what do you do on a day-to-day basis as far as your job? Being an assignment desk editor and a content producer. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a assignment desk editor 3 days a week, and then during the weekend I'm a producer. So during the weekend when I'm a producer, I kind of do like a mix of both. I'm assignment desk and producer, which I would probably describe that week instead because I'll cover everything that I do overall. But I usually like look for stories that are happening in the valley. We use like different systems like NBC where we get our video from, or like we use Associated Press. That's when I find like my national or international stories. But of course, like we always want to focus local because we're a local station. So I look around to see what's happening here, like the crime that's happening here. And like I kind of gather those stories together first in like a day sheet. I'm like always like taking care of the scanner too, of like what's happening in the valley crime wise, like where the ambulance is going, or like get in contact with police officers on a situation. So that's
Okay.
kind of like my day-to-day basis, just looking for stories, doing the editorial meetings like during the morning, like I kind of go through what's happening in the day. Excuse me. And then I just kind of throw in pitches for reporters if they want them. Like they come in with pitches, story pitches, but I also offer some if they need any.
Okay.
And like I check in with the day book to see like what events are happening and schedule like our photographers. Like I'm in charge of like kind of everyone in the area, like tell them what to do and kind of just take care of the photographers where they're at, where they're going. I send them out to scenes. I help with like writing sometimes, writing like teases, writing the titles of the graphics that are going to be on TV.
I like
And
that.
like,
Okay.
yeah, as a producer, I just build the show like however I see it, whatever is most important to start with, right? Like if there's a breaking news, I start off with that. Or like if there's a feel good story, like on Valentine's Day, I would start off with that feel good story. Cause I mean, not all people always want to see like bad news, right? You kind of
Right.
want to like play around with it. So I feel like that's what a producer does. Like they just like decision make all the time and you work with your team, you kind of lead them, ask them if this works out for them. I am like the youngest one in my team right now. So it's kind of cool, but at the same time it's intimidating because it's like, oh, you're building a show for us and like you're only like 23 and we're like, 30 and it's like I always ask them because I don't want them to question me, but like they've been trusting me lately with like all the stuff and decision making that I've done. So yeah, there's so much more that I can go into detail, but I feel like that's like the general perspective.
Nah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that. You're pretty much a jack of all trades. You do a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
I
But
feel like everyone does in this industry. Like you wear different hats, huh?
absolutely, absolutely, and I love that. Karina, I want to do some this or that with you, and this is actually my final thing that I'm going to do with you before we close out. So I want to do this or that. So I'm going to throw two things at you. You choose one or the other, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Thanksgiving.
Okay. Um, KFC or Popeye?
KFC.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Drive-in or movie theaters?
Drive-in, but because I've never done it and it looks cool.
Oh, wow. We got to definitely cross that one off the bucket list. It's definitely a beautiful thing. Once you go to a drive-in, you'll love it. I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Basketball or football?
Basketball, because I understand the game more. And then I used to play when I was younger all the time with my friends. And we have a basketball court in my backyard. And football, yesterday, it was like we did coverage at work and stuff, but it's kind of like I have a hard time like understanding like the whole game. But I just need to dedicate more time to it, and understand.
You know what? Now, since you're a new friend, I can do that. I can help you out with understanding the game. That's what my job is as a sports reporter.
Awesome. Yeah, send me some articles and stuff and
absolutely
where to start from like zero.
Got you.
I have
now I know. I got you. Okay, we started from the ground below. I get you. Okay. This question here is about chicken wing flavors. Okay. Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue.
Do you like dry or wet?
Wet.
Bone in or boneless?
Boneless.
That's my girl. I like it. Do you know how many people say bone in? And do you know how many people say boneless is nothing but a chicken nugget? It makes me so mad. I was like, what? You get more meat.
I mean, if that's what they think, I mean, I'm still gonna choose them like that, whatever you think.
Right. I'm like,
it's just like more enjoyable to eat. Like I'm just like, ooh, I can just like eat it. And like the bone, I'm just like struggling.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you get more meat with the boneless. Like I can get all the sauce I want, barbecue. I don't have to worry about the bone being in the middle. More meat. It's just better.
Yeah. And I said barbecue because I don't do spicy. Like I like, as a Mexican like background, like, they always cook with like spicy and it's just like, no, like not for me. Like
I feel it. I feel it. Okay. I like that. Okay. I got 3 more for you. Mexico or Arizona?
You said Mexico or Arizona? Mm-hmm. Arizona for sure. Like this is where my heart belongs.
Okay. I like that.
I mean, as long as I don't lose either culture, I feel like, like Arizona is in the US, but it's like the demographic here is like, I mean, in my area is a lot of Hispanic, so I don't feel like I ever really lose that. I mean, we've lost a lot of like festivities, and cultures from Mexico, which I do miss, but like, I mean, I don't miss because I never grew up with it, but I wish I had.
No, I feel that. I do. Okay. I like that. All right. This is between 2 sports you would rather play. Okay. Bowling or badminton?
Bowling. I'm pretty good at that.
Oh, you're pretty good bowler, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to have to see about that, Karina. We're going to have to see about that. Because I bowl pretty good, too. That's what I'm saying. I bowl pretty good.
I always beat my friends. Maybe they're just not good. They just make me look good. They're pretty sure they're just like, whatever, we're just here bowling because you want to. And they just do it because like, I want to.
I love it. I'm out here in Marshall, Minnesota. We don't have a bowling alley out here. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, we don't even have one. So, yeah, I'm going to have to work on my skills a little bit and tighten them up a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, here's the last one. And this one has to do with burgers. Wendy's or Jack in the Box?
Jack in the Box. I like I don't even know what it's called or what number it is.
You are a true West Coast.
It has like beef, cheese, and tomato, and it's like in a different type of bread, like a toast.
Like a sourdough? Is it sourdough?
Is it the sourdough? Yeah, I'm gonna search it up.
I'm a Jack in the Box person too. Obviously, growing up on the West Coast, you're a true West Coast person because only West Coast people know about Jack in the Box. And I'm a Jumbo Jack kind of guy, so I love that. I love Jumbo Jacks, and yeah, so I think you did very awesome in this or that. Karina, I am following you on Instagram. I'm following you on LinkedIn. And if you have a Twitter, I'm following you there as well. That is how I connect with people and also get my content out. I think you're an amazing woman who works very hard, very focused, seems very driven, and love doing what you do. And I only see great things. I'm a fan of yours already, so I can't wait for more of your stuff to come out. Obviously, at Telemundo, AZ, and yeah. So I thank you and appreciate you for being on my podcast. I always end my podcast like this. Is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude?
I don't think so. There's so much to talk about, right, in the journalism industry. I think that just to like kind of end with like something motivating for anyone who wants to be in the industry or for, anyone that's chasing a dream. I would say to, like stay focused and like be patient with yourself along the process. Cause like I feel like that's the thing that a lot of people, lose sight of, you know, because they kind of I guess forget and like they think that they can make it because they're not seeing results right away.
Right.
And that's like where, I mean, not only them, but like myself, sometimes I've lost hope and like thinking I can't accomplish something, but it all takes time and like a little bit of faith. And like both being a good human and like being a good journalist go hand on hand, Like you can't be just a good journalist and be like a bad person in life. Like that doesn't make sense. Like you just have to like really work on like bettering your person personally and then like working on yourself professionally second, I think. And like that's gonna take you to great things in life, I think.
Without question.
But thank you so much, Chris, for like giving me this space and for like, being patient and finally allowing me to like meet up with you. It was so nice to like learn a little bit about what you do and like what inspires you and like the extra things that you're doing, going the extra mile to, be great in this industry and kind of like, stand out and, the rest of the people who are also doing the same thing. But thanks so much for your time and, for asking me questions and like being interested in like what I do. Appreciate Absolutely. It. Not a lot of people want to like look into, like what others do. So you like giving that space and like making others feel like they're important. I think that's very amazing.
Thank you, Karina. I really appreciate that. Please do not be a stranger. Continue doing great work and enjoy the rest of your Monday.
You too, Chris. Thank you so much. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. You take care now.
Bye.